Hey everyone, it's your boy Rick, and today we're going to talk about the Heisei Godzilla vs. Goku matchup. The first thing I want to make clear is that I won't be using their planetary, star, solar system, or galaxy-level feats to bore you. Both sides already have enough showings and statements to prove their power. For example, the infamous Cell and Bu destroying solar systems and galaxies, or one of Godzilla's cells surviving the force of a black hole, which alone scales him to multisolar or even multi-galaxy level. So, without wasting any more time, let's dive into the fight. So, starting off with Goku, we know in Dragon Ball there are several universe-destroying statements. Even in the Buu saga, it's been stated that Kid Buu was going to destroy the entire universe, which is infinite in size and contains a space-time. This would make Kid Buu a 4D character. It's also stated multiple times that Kid Buu is stronger than anything Goku had previously faced, and that would include Buhan, who was also going to crush the entire universe just by screaming through dimensions. This would make Kid Buu at least low multiversal, and since Goku was shown to be able to box with him, he'd be low multiversal too. But I have some issues with this because Buu never gained power from Buhan, as Gohan and Gotenks were separated from his body, so I don't think Kid Buu being stronger than Buhan makes any sense. However, you can get the Buu Saga Goku to low multiversal if you believe the Fusion Reborn movie, which is probably non-canon to the mainline series. But the events take place after Goku arrives back in the other world, meaning this is the same Goku, so you can say they share similar feats. In the movie, we saw Goku shakes the heaven, hell, and the afterlife just by transforming into Super Saiyan 3. The afterlife is stated to transcend the dimensions that can't be perceived from the human world. This would make Buu Saga Goku low multiversal to possibly even 5D at max if you believe afterlife transcends the 4D dimensions, but in some guides it is stated to be a higher dimension, but sometimes it's just stated to be a 4D dimension. But if you don't want to use those movie scalings, that's fine. We know later on in Dragon Ball Super that Goku and Beerus were going to destroy the entire DBZ macrocosm, which again contains several universal-sized spaces, and heaven, hell, and the other world are comparable to the living world in size, so destroying the entire macrocosm with only 3 punches would make God Goku at least low multiversal. Goku then just absorbed the God form into his base, which would grant base Goku low multiversal levels of attack potency. He then got several power increases in Dragon Ball Super, so you can say he's multiversal depending on how you use the multipliers for each form. But again, the shockwaves were going to destroy the entire macrocosm, which includes the afterlife, and the afterlife transcends the dimensions, which is potentially 5D. Then, in the Tournament of Power, Goku shakes the world of Void, which is infinite in size and stated to have no concepts of space and time. So it doesn't really scale anywhere, but since the Grand Priest added a time taxes, this would be a 4D feat as time is linked with space. But then there is a statement about superdimensional or transdimensional, as it's said in the Broly movie that both Broly and Gogeta were punching each other out of the boundaries of the macrocosm, which caps at 5D. You could possibly argue it's 6D if you still believe the afterlife is 5D. Then that realm outside of the macrocosm would be a 6D plane. As for his speed now, we know Goku has instant transmission, which is basically infinite speed, but during the Battle of God, the shockwaves he created was traveling into different spacetimes which are infinite in size, which also gives Goku infinite speed. But then in the Goku Black Arc, he can move in a place where time doesn't exist, so this would grant him inaccessible speed. But you can get Goku even higher, which I would explain later. Our boy Instinct of Doom made an entire ranking video about the weakest to strongest versions of Goku, so yeah, go watch this and give this man some love. First, I want to talk about Godzilla's cosmology, as many people can't understand simple things. It's stated that the Heisei universe is an alternate branch timeline of the Showa universe, and the Heisei kaiju are stronger clones of their Showa variants. The universe is multiple times stated to be infinite in size, and contains several 4D spacetimes. Some people might ask what a negative 4D dimension is. It's quite simple. It's just an alternate version of a 4D space. However, it's still 4D like the other 4D spaces of the verse which are beyond the scope of the 3D weapons, so stop believing peoples who made the most horrible excuses to downplay 4D characters. Both the movie and the official Godzilla website confirm that Biollante is the one who donated her cells to the black hole. The Showa-era black holes are stated to be the trap of the universe, which means they upscale the universe and its several 4D dimensions. Therefore, one Heisei cell surviving the force of an entire black hole would be around low multiversal to possibly multiversal, as a body is like made of billions of the same cells, even higher if you use the 200 to 4 million times multipliers. Orochi can generate hyperspace energies which is able to break apart the surrounding space-time, and damage kaijus who can transcend dimensions. This supports more 4D if not 5D. Mecha King Ghidorah was able to break through the time barrier into a realm above time and space, which allowed him to fly back in time to a different timeline. This means that the realm above the time barrier would be a 5D construct, and Ghidorah uses the same energy in his attacks, which Godzilla easily survives. But then, Godzilla has been shown to neg Space Godzilla, who can manipulate supergravity, which is a higher dimensional version of gravity. Now, some baboons and Reddit users might say that Space Godzilla is weak because supergravity scales nowhere, as it's linked with string theory and other such shits. But again, supergravity isn't inherently linked with string theory, and it depends on the verse how they portray string theory in their cosmology. Otherwise, supergravity is a higher dimensional force on its own, no matter how hard those monkeys try to deny it. But Space Godzilla is also higher dimensional, as he is comparable to the other higher dimensional beings in the Godzilla multiverse, such as Void Ghidorah and Godzilla Ultima, who also manipulate supergravity and transcend the laws of physics with this supergravity. This is a baseline fifth-dimensional feat, as the laws of physics are what bind 4D dimensions. But then, Space Godzilla is 6D, as supergravity is a higher dimensional force on a cosmology composed of 4D spaces and a 5D realm beyond time and space. But then Godzilla is infinitely 6D, as he absorbed energy from Space Godzillas who have infinite power on a 6D scale, and Godzilla is a layer above Space Godzilla's power, so he's like 2 layers into infinite 5 to 6D. But Burning Godzilla also grows infinitely in power after each use of his infinite spiral heat ray, which he uses 5 times in the movie. So, he's probably 5 to 7 layers into infinite 6D. As for his speed now, Godzilla can't walk that fast, but he can react and box with kaijus who have speed of light, just like DC. The speed of light in the Heiseiverse is immeasurable speed, as characters like Mothra Leo can fly back in time with the speed of light. Orochi beat a bird who can fly through dimensional cracks and time itself. Godzilla can sense enemies from different time periods, as Mecha King Ghidorah, whose time travel was actually observed by Godzilla before he arrived back in time. Now, there are a lot of bad YouTubers who uses the most awful excuses to debunk both characters, which they did, but in the most ape way. There are some glue eaters who don't like universal kaijus, so they make the most stupid excuses, like saying that supergravity applies to planets like Jupiter. Since that argument couldn't last long, so they came up with another excuse, that supergravity is inherently linked to string theory, which is not true at all, and they know that, but what else you can expect from low-tier power scalers who use their low intelligence to scale 4D things? There is a kid who ragebait like a baby just because I've burst his idol's bubbles multiple times. So he tried to expose me and others, simply because we don't worship Goku, we don't say he is the strongest outerversal, we don't respect them, their opinions, and their other nonsense. Honestly, this seems fair to me because opinions are trash. They're just imaginary shits which aren't true. But many kids are actually consuming their horrible takes as facts, such as Goku is stronger than the Darkest Night, Final Wars is stronger than Earth, Featherine is human level, Goku is rock level, Jesus and etc. gods are fiction victim, or Azathoth sees the Cthulhu mythos as dreams, and many more stupid brain rots. If someone forces you to respect every fictional verse, characters and opinions, or otherwise you're toxic if you don't do that. Listen, stop respecting the people who think that way. Those hypocritical parasites don't deserve respect who have issues with understanding. Bullying those parasites isn't wrong at all, and I will keep doing that no matter how many people call me toxic. I don't care, my job is to put some brain cells into their brains, and I will keep doing that no matter how hard they cry, because I have no respect for dumbfucks who have issues with understanding simple things or apes who hide in their community posts to spread lies about me and others. Before I say Goku is outerversal, it would be better if we first talk about both of their anti-feats. Some people believe Goku can't be multiversal because he was hurt by rocks and bullets, which is a ridiculous downplay. The reason he was hurt by that rock is because he lowered his ki while he was sleeping. In Dragon Ball, warriors can raise their ki levels, which gives them extra defense and durability. If they decrease their ki, their durability and other stuffs also gets lowered. That's why he sometimes gets hurt by bullets, elephants, and other bizarre things. So, stop saying he's rock level. As for Godzilla, some people believe he's weak because his heart melted at 1200 degrees Celsius. But again, Godzilla's skin has already resisted more extreme temperatures that exceeds the temperature at which his heart melted. His heart is literally the place where he controls his power, and in his burning form, his heart couldn't handle the power and heat. This isn't an anti-feat at all because his heart was functioning as a nuclear reactor. The radiation in a nuclear reactor can reach millions of degrees Celsius, but the reactor itself melts at lower temperatures. Then you have people claiming that if both characters are really that strong, why can't they destroy planets or galaxies by themselves? This is because a character's attack potency isn't inherently linked with their destructive capacity. Destructive capacity refers to what you can destroy, which is related to stuffs like explosions that aren't focused in one specific point. Attack potency, on the other hand, refers to who you can hurt, and it is more focused on a small surface area. So, characters hurting each other without destroying the neighboring area isn't an anti-feat. Now let's talk about some of their higher-end stuffs. We know that the Xenoverse is most likely a composite timeline, where all DB, DBZ, movies, Super, and GT events are canon. This means all the nonsense I just explained and all the nonsense from other DBZ continuities is actually canon to the Xenoverse. We know CC Goku is actually a stronger version of Dragon Ball Super Goku. So, you could argue CC Goku is 4D, potentially 5D, due to stuffs like the Battle of Gods and the Otherworld, etc. However, we also know that CC Goku is shown to be stronger than Xeno Goku, who is shown to box with Demigra. Demigra is a being who transcends space-time and dimensions and can also destroy the entire Xenoverse cosmology, which contains an infinite amount of timelines, universes, and histories, which is at least multiversal plus. The verse also features higher dimensional spaces like the crack time, which is stated to be superdimensional, and supergravity, which is inherently higher dimensional due to its nature. So, yeah, that's more consistency for a 5D Dragon Ball heroes. But you could argue 6D, as Demigra also threatened the Beats world, a place which views the entire Xenoverse as a game, or I should say fiction. So, yes, that possibly puts CC Goku at infinite 6D with several immeasurable speed stuffs. But I know what you guys want. You want me to say, is Goku outerversal? The simple answer is yes. No, he isn't, and he's never gonna be. Now, I know many people want to fill my head with bullets. But again, Goku isn't outerversal. The idea that Otherworld is outerversal just because it supposedly lacks the concepts of space and time yet transcends the dimensions is stupid. The Otherworld transcends nothing. The word transcends here simply means the afterlife is on a higher plane than the living world. But that doesn't mean it literally transcends the space and time. Humans can't perceive the afterlife because it's simply outside of the living world. Even time also exists in the afterlife. So, it's just plain stupid to say that Goku is outerversal because of Otherworld lacks the concepts of time and space. But hey girl, don't cry. I promised you all that I would give Goku his outer scaling in this video. So, that's why I'm using an old video from Nothing Important here for Goku's scaling. So, the argument is that Zamasu, who merged with the entire universe, was trying to become the law and order. Becoming the literal concepts of law and order is considered as outerversal. Since these are the major concepts for an entire verse, infinite Zamasu becoming the literal concepts of law and order means he would be outerversal. But how does Goku scale to this? We know in the Tournament of Power, Jiren was stated to be the strongest opponent Universe 7 had ever faced. That means Jiren is stronger than infinite Zamasu, and Goku in his Master Ultra Instinct form beats the dog shit out of a full-power Jiren. So, overall Goku is outerversal. Now, this argument is 100 times better than that stupid Otherworld being outerversal shit. But, is Heisei outerversal? Well, yes he is, and there are several ways you can get him there. We know Marvel Godzilla is Showa Godzilla, and Heisei is confirmed to be stronger than any version of Showa. Now, Marvel Godzilla is a walking powerhouse. As in his 70s run, he was stated to be the strongest thing on Earth. He beats Hulk on screen, who shattered dimensions with one smash. He overwhelmed Hercules, comparable to a full-power Thor or maybe above him. In his current run, he's comparable to beings like Galactus. He folds a random celestial, and in the astral plane he also put some dirt in Dormammu's eyes. He one-shots immortal Thor, who is confirmed to be the strongest version of Thor, mentally fought with Null, and is confirmed to be the strongest thing that ever pushed against Sue Storm's force fields. He's immune to Wanda's hexes, no diffs fin fong fum, the X-Men, and the Avengers, and Godzilla also shakes the mainline 616 universe with a roar. But where does he scale? Well, he's pretty much outerversal, if not high outerversal. He beats both immortal Thor and an amped version of All-Father Thor, and he's compared to beings like Galactus. All these characters somehow scale to beings like Eternity. Thor himself scales to beings like Null, who is stated to be a threat to Eternity and the entire Marvel multiverse. We know the universes are stated to be higher dimensional, with each dimension seeing the previous one as fiction. Even infinite dimensional constructs and dimensions exist within the universe. Then there is the multiverse, containing an infinite amount of these universes, and the omniverse, which contains an infinite amount of these multiverses. Then there is the superflow, which is beyond the omniverse, and then there is the neutral zone, which transcends the superflow. Then you have Eternity, who sees the cosmology as a figment of him, as he is the concept of reality and existence itself. So, Marvel Godzilla is at least high hyper to outer, if not high outer, as he scales to characters who scales to beings like Eternity. But then there are some clowns believing that Marvel Godzilla isn't canon to the mainline 616 universe, that this comic is just a gag, that the characters are nerfed, that Marvel is just making these comics for fun, and that Godzilla isn't beating any real outerversal character. This might be a heart attack for the glue eaters, but the classic version of Marvel Godzilla is confirmed to be canon and exists within the mainline 616. The updated version is also confirmed to be canon, and it's the same one from the classic days. Who confirmed this? Toho and the person who's creating the entire Godzilla destroy the Marvel Universe comics. And the Marvel characters being nerfed in this comic is a horrible excuse. It's Godzilla who got stronger after his 40 years of off-screen. So, there is no escaping from the fact that Marvel Godzilla is canon and he's folding the strongest versions of the Marvel characters. I'm not saying he automatically solos Marvel. I'm just saying he scales into those high tiers of Marvel. But wait, there's more. Godzilla Ultima is also an outerversal being. I was planning to make a different video about Godzilla's singular point scaling, but I've changed my mind. The anime Ultima and novel Ultima are same creature. In the novel, it is stated that the singular point cosmology is composed of an infinite number of higher dimensions, where each sees the below one as fiction. Godzilla destroys these infinite higher dimensions as if they were dreams, which would make him high hyperversal at best. He might even be outerversal, as he sees those dimensions as dreams within dreams, something like that. However, he's still bound by the concepts of time, so an outerversal Ultima is a bit iffy, but that doesn't mean we can't argue it. We know the title of the strongest version of the Japanese Godzilla still goes to Heisei Godzilla. And we also know that Godzilla Gemstone has a burning Godzilla form, which is stated to be the strongest form of the Reiwa era. So, you can argue that Heisei upscales Ultima due to the fact that burning is comparable to Gemstone. But you can also upscale Heisei Godzilla off of Godzilla in Hell. Since people don't like this version of Godzilla just because of how strong he is, there are some weak downplays on him which I'm not going to be covering in this video. But is he outerversal? Well, yes. We know each IDW Godzilla comic is a different timeline of the infinite IDW Godzilla multiverse. The same IDW Godzilla multiverse is also connected to the IDW Megaverse, as Godzilla recently had a crossover with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers, which also have crossed over with the IDW Infestation comic, which shows an elder god from the Cthulhu mythos was trying to destroy the Megaverse. Godzilla was also meant to be a part of this comic, but that never happened because of his first run in IDW Comics. Within the Megaverse there is Dungeons and Dragons, which is one of the outerversal verse in IDW. The D&D multiverse is composed of infinite higher dimensions where each dimension transcending the lower one and the far realm, which transcends the entire D&D multiverse, and the concepts of D&D is nothing against the far realm, making it outerversal. D&D also has a Godzilla, who is the absolute behemoth of the D&D verse, as nothing from D&D can beat him. This includes outerversal beings like the luminous being who created the entire Dungeons and Dragons cosmology. Now, some might say that D&D Godzilla isn't canon to the main D&D multiverse. But again, D&D themselves confirmed that everything in D&D is canon to the multiverse if anything is connected with D&D, or if you just create a campaign, it would be count as a single universe of the canon D&D multiverse. Now, since D&D, Godzilla, Transformer, Power Rangers, and other franchises are connected and exist as a part of the Megaverse. So Godzilla in Hell would be outerversal, as the same D&D Godzilla is actually weaker than the first layer of Hell, and Godzilla in Hell gets stronger than anything he has previously faced. So yeah, Godzilla in Hell is outerversal at the low end, if not mid-end. But how does Heisei scale to this? Well, the Space Godzilla that Godzilla in Hell fought in Issue 3 is actually the same Space Godzilla from the Heisei era. So, you could argue that Heisei is kind of equal to Hell Godzilla, who is stronger than the D&D versions of Godzillas. But if you don't want to use the other Godzilla scalings for Heisei Godzilla, that's fine. You can get Heisei into outerversal. We know Cthulhu mythos is actually a part of, or at least shares some properties with the canon Godzilla multiverse. The original Showa Godzilla was actually meant to be a Cthulhu-like creature from the Cthulhu mythos, and Heisei is just consistently above Showa Godzilla. Not only that, but Buddhism, Hinduism, Norse, Christianity, Japanese, and several other cosmologies are also a part of the Godzilla multiverse. Heisei proves this, as Japanese mythological gods and creatures like Yamata no Orochi, Susanoo, and Amaterasu-like beings actually exist within the Heisei Godzilla cosmology. We know our Hinduism is all about dualities: hope, darkness, life, death, etc. Then you have Buddhism, which involves spirituality, infinite dimensional layers, and concepts like good, evil, punishment, and transcendent types of stuff. Buddhism itself is an outerversal cosmology, just like Hinduism, because in Hindu mythology, there are outerversal gods like Shiva and Vishnu. Shiva is, for example, beyond any consideration of space and time as well as conceptualizations, which can easily get Shiva into the outerversal ranges. Now, I'm not going to explain everything from Hinduism, Buddhism, and the other cosmologies because I don't want to make this video longer. But how does Heisei scale to this? Well, Orochi and Ikigami are comparable to universe-creating deities, so they should upscale the Hindu pantheons like Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, and the other mythological gods from the Heisei verse. Orochi and Ikigami once fought for Heisei Godzilla's throne, but the same Godzilla utterly defeats both characters. So, overall, Heisei Godzilla is outerversal. So, if Heisei is outerversal and Goku is outerversal, who would win this fight? Well, I think I should need to go over their hexes because you can't easily win a fight if you don't have hexes and other stuffs. Well, Goku have precognition, adaptation, he can resist hits time skipped, he have type 1 casuality and existence eraser. Goku is a better CQC fighter. I have also seen some reality warping, fate manipulation, law manipulation type stuffs in DBZ, so if Goku is stronger than the hexes user then he can easily resist their hexes. What about Godzilla? Well, he is a hex monster. He have type 1A causality as he resisted being erased by time traveler, and resisted the time paradox that erased him from history. He somehow manages to came back. Godzilla also can regenerate his entire head being blown off. A single cell can regenerate his entire body. He is the living embodiment of nuclear weapons. He is not just a nuclear symbol, but he is the symbol itself. And as long as the concept of radiation and nuclear weapons exist, he can't die. Erasing Godzilla from history is impossible due to embodying nuclear energy and continues to come back more powerful and stronger. Can grow stronger from human hatred. He is the embodiment of the dark side of humanity. Destoroyah's attacks can destroy atoms on a subatomic scale. He is also a destroyer of fate. A single G-cell is able to survive being in a black hole. Godzilla will continue to remain alive as he is hidden in the heart of each and every human being, and hidden inside every dream in every person. He resisted Ghidorah's gravity, matter, and physics destroying gravity beams. Godzilla continuously gets stronger by the day. He can adapt, evolve, and can get stronger during fights. His G-cells allow him to adapt and quickly become immune to attacks from beings like Orochi's magic, which can cast the body, soul, and mind into darkness, corrupt the body, mind, and soul, bend and warp reality and space-time. And Godzilla easily nullified them, adapted to Mothra's sealing. Spiritual things are completely meaningless to him. He also transcends concepts like good and evil. Godzilla can physically harm beings like Batra, who is made of pure energy. Can kill monsters who are embodiments of human feelings like fear, Orochi. Himself is the embodiment of evil. Also fought with Utsuno, a mythological deity who embodies things such as the sun, moon, and other bodies in the universe, as well as the fact these deities created their own universe with other conceptual gods. He also scales to beings like Space Godzilla, who can transcend the laws of physics, and Mecha King Ghidorah, who transcends space-time. He's also not bounded to things such as fate. Became more powerful after absorbing Raden's soul, and kaiju are able to manipulate their very own soul and spiritual energy, which allows them to become more powerful quickly, or manipulate their soul and energy to adapt and become resistant to certain abilities. They can also do this to absorb the souls of other kaiju as well. Prevented Biollante from regenerating, whose own regeneration is comparable to himself. He killed Space Godzilla, who was born out of a black hole. He can kill other kaiju who embodies human concepts and aspects, as well as he kills those who absorb his own DNA and gain his own powers. Because of his cells, beings like Biollante is immortal and can live forever. He have plot manipulation, as he came into our real world where he beats up his own writers and forced them to not reveal his weakness. And the only thing is able to kill him was ultimately himself. So, overall, who wins this fight? And I would say Heisei can win this fight with low to mid difficulty, because A. Heisei has better and consistent 5 to 6D arguments than DBS Goku. B. Heisei has better power growth, as he can grow stronger and adapt during fights, but he gets stronger off his opponent's rage, so every minute Goku gets angry at him only makes Godzilla more stronger. He can also tank his own atomic breath reflected back at him thousands of times over, so his durability is probably higher than his AP. He can absorb energy from anything like of electricity, atmosphere, radiation, and from his opponents he not only has better hexes, but he also can kill beings who have his own levels of hex, power, regeneration, immortality, and other such things. Even if you scale both characters into outerversal, Heisei still has better hex, immortality, regeneration than Goku. So yeah, I can't see how Goku can win against this absolute monster. But is there any other version of Goku who has a chance against Heisei? Well, yes, there is, and it's Xeno Goku because of his power nullification, but Heisei also has a chance against Xeno because of his insane power growth. I also heard about a beyond tiering Goku from some monkey, as this version of Goku fused with the real-life audience, so he's beyond fiction, beyond tiering like shits. But again, beyond fiction or beyond tiering isn't a thing. This is actually made by some dumbfucks so can goon their favorite characters automatically above the entire fiction. And being fused with real-life audience doesn't make anyone beyond fiction. There are several characters who done the same shit. Even Godzilla himself is the example, as he once becomes the official citizen of the Japan, so does that mean he's beyond tiering? Of course not. But hey, I think it's enough for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you agree with me, then leave a comment, and if you don't, then dislike this video and then leave a comment. And if you guys would be interested to see more higher scalings for Goku in DBZ-verse, I would recommend you guys to check out Instinct of Doom's channel. He made a lot of great DBZ scalings. And also check out Nothing Important Here's channel. What can I say? This guy is the best Destiny and Warframe scaler. However, and the last thing I want to say is,
say my name.